Hi everyone, thanks for tuning in. I'm Lauren, and if you are a regular viewer of my videos then you'll notice that I'm in a bit of a different setting today. I'm in the studio that is above our shop, and I wanted to just do a little bit of a tour and show you around up here in this week's video. And I know that a lot of you, especially those of you that probably watch these videos, you shop with us online or you're not able to make it to the shop, but I feel like the studio is a really important part of the business for me. It's got a lot of heart and soul in it. So I wanted to just show you guys who can't make it a little bit of a look around. So when I first opened the shop, which was almost 6 years ago now, I wasn't entirely sure how I wanted this space to work, because I knew that we were going to do sewing workshops, but then I also wasn't sure if we were going to be doing other workshops that were like different crafts or different things, and I wasn't too set on like how the room should be set up and how it should sort of be configured, and I wanted to be as flexible as possible. So kind of had minimum furniture really. I had two large cutting tables, which I've still got. I'll talk about them in more detail later, but I had two of them, and the sides of them could flip down, and they were on wheels as well, so it means that I could kind of collapse them a bit and sort of push them to the side. And then I had two other larger tables that were kind of like work tables really, so sewing machines could go on them, or you could like sit around to do other crafts or other types of workshops on them too. And that was pretty much it, other than a few ironing boards. And then just over the years it just gradually like accumulated more bits of furniture as we needed it. We got a set of overlockers, then we needed storage for them, and then we just needed like other shelves to put books and bits and pieces and stuff on. And then we got two other cutting, like two other tables that you could kind of cut on as well. And yeah, the place just sort of evolved over time. And then at the beginning of this year, we just had a bit of a reconfigure of the space, because I feel like now I really know how I want the room to work for what we do. We predominantly just do sewing and dressmaking workshops. We do very occasionally do other ones, but most of the time it's sewing ones. So I felt like I'd used the room enough that I kind of knew how I wanted it to be set up and how it could work best in terms of what we have to store, what we have to use it for. So I shall give you a more detailed look around. So as you come up the stairs from the shop, and then you come into the studio, and it's almost the same size as the shop downstairs. It's a little bit smaller, and it's got these super high ceilings, and we've got this amazing chandelier. Got that from eBay. I think it came from Turkey. And then these are all the original beams that are part of the building. The building was actually built in 1898, and these are the original beams from then, but they were actually all covered up. So when we first started renovating the building, there was actually like stud walls that sort of boxed them in really, and then there was a flat ceiling, like where that horizontal beam is just there, and there was a flat ceiling there, so it didn't like go right up to the top, so it's like a little attic really. And then it wasn't until we sort of started ripping everything down, because it was kind of split up into like a little flat up here. It was a bit weird. There was like a one room at the front, a room at the back, and then kind of two weird middle rooms in the middle. And when we took all of that down, then we realised, oh my goodness, there's these amazing beams, and they were absolutely filthy. Oh my goodness, they were so disgusting. They had like layers of sticky varnish and paint on them and all sorts. And when we were renovating them, I spent just over a month basically with thick gloves and nitro mowers and a scraper, and I like scraped them and scrubbed them and then waxed them all until they came up what they're like today. They're so beautiful. So that is the beams. And then what we've decided to do around the kind of edge of two of the walls is make a fixed workbench that is propped up by, they're actually Kalle units from IKEA that have been sort of customised a little bit to be the right height. But they go all the way around the room, and these are kind of like permanent sewing stations here, and we've got loads of sockets underneath to plug all of the sewing machines in. So underneath, it means that we can store overlockers, and there's space if people, you know, students that come on workshops, if they want to like store their personal belongings, or if they've got their own kind of bits and pieces for their project they're working on, they can put them under there as well. And I made the surface of that worktop wide enough so that it means if you folded wide dressmaking fabric in half, that you could fit it across there. So it means that although they are obviously a bit lower, we can use that as cutting out space as well, so it means there's loads and loads of cutting out space. Nobody needs to cut out on the floor, which is amazing. So then I've still got the 2 original cutting tables that I had. They were made by a local carpentry company back when I was opening the shop, and the bases are made from MDF, and then the top is an oak kitchen worktop that's been sort of cut down to size, and they're on really big heavy duty caster as well, so we can kind of move them around and reposition them. So we've got 2 cutting tables that just sort of stay high, and then we've got this 1 cutting table that is in the middle, and it can be low. That's the original table that we had for the sewing machines to go on, but so we can use it if we're having like a knitting workshop or something, or the trainer making workshop, we can sort of sit around there. But then I had these big elephant feet made that prop the table up, so it means that that table can then be a nice high cutting table as well, so got plenty space, high up space for cutting, which is brilliant. And then I've got the good old IKEA pegboard hanging up, where we could just like keep our scissors and some of the ironing tools and stuff. It's just great for putting any sort of sewing stuff that you want on there. I'd highly recommend them if you need a storage space in your own sewing area. And then all of the students that come on the workshop, they all get this little box here, which is a little Prim toolbox to store their stuff in, and then they all get the same set of sewing tools as well. So in here you've got measuring tape, obviously, an aluminium seam gauge, these beautiful little rose gold stork scissors, some silicone finger guards so that people don't singe their fingers when they're pressing. They are the paper scissors, and then we've got micro serration dressmaking shears as well. We've got pin cushion, a point turner, this is like a little chalk clicky pen, this is the chalk wheel, a seam ripper, and then this is a needle twister sort of storage thing, which is great. You've got all your hand sewn needles in there. So yeah, everybody gets their own little toolbox to use while they're on the workshop. So all of the tools that are in the little box that students get when they come on a workshop is also part of our like sort of workshop deal, so they get 10% off of any of these supplies when they come on a workshop, along with some other stuff as well. So we've got like the curve, the dressmaker's rule, and the ironing board cover, and pattern weights, and sort of various other bits and pieces. So yeah, anybody who comes on a workshop gets 10% off those things. And then the machines that we've got at the moment are the Brother Innovis F420s, and they are on loan from us, from Brother, but it's all done through our local sewing machine shop, which is called Frank Nut. That's just in Kings Heath. And these machines are really great. They've got some amazing features. They've got a needle threader and a thread cutter, and yeah, they're just like really smooth and lovely to use. They're really good. So we've got a set of 10 of them, but usually we just limit the numbers for dressmaking to 8 per class, just so that everybody's got enough space. And then overlocker wise, we've got Janome overlockers, which are the 632, hope I said that number right, it's in the video clip anyway. We've got 6 of them, and they are also on long-term loan from Janome. And they've got 2 other ones. This is them here, but more of a basic model, but they're still really good. And I bought them myself years ago, back when we first started getting overlockers. And then we also have a Janome cover stitch machine as well. I've just got one of them, and we don't use it quite as often, but it's quite handy to use, and it's sometimes nice for people just to see what it does. And then iron wise, I use Phillips irons, and I've got two models of this one. This is the Azure, and I actually bought these when I first had the shop, so they're like almost 6 years old, and I tell you, they get a lot of heavy use and they are still really good. They've lasted really well. I would recommend them because they've been, you know, they have lasted a long time. I did have 3, and one of them just went kaput and bust. So then I had to replace that one, and then I ended up getting like a slightly different model, which is really good as well. I think I've maybe had that about a year, but yeah, the other 2 have lasted so long. It's been amazing. So yeah, I quite like Phillips for the irons. I just bought them. They didn't give me them or anything. And then on the walls, I have got this really cool print that I had commissioned by Super Cool, who are our web developers, and Katie, who works there, designed this really cool print, which is the anatomy of a sewing machine, kind of combining my past career as a physiotherapist with my new career, which is sewing. And yeah, it's just like meant to be a fun print that's got all the common landmarks that sewing machines would have, and we've got it in 4 different colours, so I'm really pleased to finally have that up on the wall. Look really cool. And then I also wanted to show you outside in the landing, because we kind of reconfigured that as well. If you've ever been to the studio before, you'll know that we used to have that old, it was like the old library drawers, which used to be in the shop. We used to like store all bag hardware and stuff in there, but just wasn't using it anymore, and I did love that bit of furniture, but it just wasn't practical anymore. Anyway, so I got rid of that, sold that, and then we just made it more like a little cloakroom with a mirror and stuff, which is great, because obviously when you're dressmaking you have to try stuff on and check out what you look like in the mirror. And my dad, my amazing dad who loves a project, he cut out lots of these little triangles to be like bunting and painted them all, and then that's where we hang our coats. So it's like little cool cloakroom area out there, really love that. And then the other part of like the reorganisation of this room was to create a little office area. It's over the years we've just kind of expanded into every single corner that this building has. We just didn't use we've got like 2 rooms that are out the back, and we just basically didn't really use them at all when we first opened. But the room downstairs has kind of become the stock room and a little office back there. And then the one that is upstairs had to become an office as well, but it was kind of like a staff room as well. But it was just getting really kind of a bit claustrophobic in there and wasn't really the best use of space. So we decided to make a little office corner up in the studio, and then that room is just the staff room now. I'm not even going to show you it because it's not very picturesque and I still have to tidy up a bit. But this is the office area here that we've got up in the studio. Still need to put some nice things up in those shelves, but this is where Meg, who is our manager, works. So yeah, she's just got much better space to do all the behind the scenes stuff to keep G&G going. And just in case anybody was curious, I have a desk at home because I live really close to the shop, then it's fine to do that. So I have like a little desk and sewing area at home, which is where I kind of do all of my work from, but I'll maybe show you that another time. It's quite messy just now. So I hope you've enjoyed having a bit of a look around the studio. If anybody's got any questions or anything, or you want to see anything up close again, I don't know, just leave me a comment and let me know. But thanks so much for watching, guys. If you haven't subscribed to my channel already, just remember to hit subscribe so you don't miss out on my next video, and I'll see you next time. Thanks, bye.